How many of your parents have came to America as immigrants? An estimated 2,600,000 immigrants resided in California in 2009. I know we all know someone that may be immigrants to this country but are here for good and is willing to do anything to have a better life. I know that I do. My parents came to this country for a better future, even if it meant working long days and going to school to have a better life. Immigrants come to America should be welcome. Today I will be talking about immigrant labor, why they're here, and why they leave their homeland. First, I will talk about how hardworking immigrants are. When working, whether in restaurants, fields, or warehouses, which do you often see working? Immigrants, don't you? Immigrants come to America for employment. According to Immigration Reform Bulletin from Cato.org, they say that immigrants in 2004 work labor was 92% and the natives were 83%. That's saying that immigrants are willing to work in extreme weather and work in anything they are told to do. Immigrants are willing to work just for a few dollars. If you look at Chinese food restaurants, for example, who is making the food? Immigrants. On the side of the freeway, who is selling food? An immigrant. Why, you may ask yourself why? Because they are willing to work on whatever they get offered just to make a few dollars for themselves and their family. According to the U.S. needs more immigrants to grow the economy and create jobs. From the George W. Bush Institute, from HuffingtonPost.com, says that immigrants leave their homelands behind and move to the U.S. because they think their skills can be put to best use in America. The key is that immigrants bring new skills that complement American workers. They help the economy grow because they may open jobs, not doing them like natives say they do. Now that I have talked about how immigrants come to work, I will talk about how they want to improve. When you see someone with no future and very little education, I think the better thing to do is to migrate to see what's in store for them. When you see dropouts from high school or around you, do you ever think why they may have chosen that lifestyle? Most may say just because they're lazy to go to school or have their life ruined by drugs. But have you given it a thought about why some of your parents gave up education and came here for a better future? In an essay I read last quarter on immigration, The Crossing from Vicente Martinez, from the book America Now by Robert Antoine, published in the United States, is Vicente's testimonial on why he came to America and challenges he went through as he crossed the border. His main reason was to improve his life despite his health problems. And why immigrants come to the U.S. from law.yourdictionary.com talks about how when in Mexico, people only have a certain level of education because they would have to stop going to school to help their mother because she couldn't support her family at all. But coming to the U.S. would help them reach better education and be able to help their mother. My parents only had a certain level of education when they were in Mexico. My dad only went up to second grade, and my mom graduated high school. My dad came to the U.S. for a better education. He graduated high school here in America. He didn't go to college, but he has a high school diploma. He has a stable job, and he is happy with what he has accomplished. Now that I have talked about immigrants' education, I will now talk about how they want to improve their lives. Leaving from their homeland may be hard, but when trying to avoid crimes, drug, corruption, immigrants are willing to migrate without any authorization. The conflict has left thousands dead, paralyzed whole cities with fear, and spawned a culture of corruption reaching the upper levels of the Mexican state, said Los Angeles Times. With so many crimes going on in the state of Mexico, families are scared that they might be the next victims. A war erupted between the new group, which called itself Las Familias Michoacanas, and the Zetas, Military defectors known for exploiting areas they control through extortion, kidnapping, drug trafficking, and other crimes led by Mexico's drug war common crime rise. These cartel groups have left many families with no escape. Some of the families even have to join the cartel just to keep themselves and their families safe. For example, in my friend's mother's hometown in Mexico, in the last years, 2 people were killed by the group called Los Zetas. Those people were killed were the ones in the town that had the most money, and the family members received the head of the person that was kidnapped in a cooler. Then the next day, they found a list of people that they were going to kill, and they say, but I'm not sure that her grandpa was on it, and her aunt has received various calls threatening them about her grandpa. So he moved in with them. Today I have talked about immigrants coming to America to work hard at their education and in search for a better life. Now it is time for that to be done. All immigrants coming to America should be welcome because they might make a change in our economy and in their life. Immigrants are here to work, have more opportunities in life, and get away from all the crimes. If you ever wonder why immigrants come to the U.S., just put yourself in their shoes and give it a little thought about the future you would like.